Camilla bizarre interview with Howard Stern laughably goes off rails when she talks about weakness. Wow, we all know she's weak. I can't wait. I got a ton of clips here from that interview that we're gonna go over. But she's doing like a full on blitz when it comes to interviews because she knows they're in trouble. So she has to do these interviews because so many people on both sides of the aisle been talking about how she's been ducking and dodging these interviews. So now she's doing this blitz of interviews with friendly, of course, friendly. She would never go to like any Fox News or OWN or any of these other ones that will hold her feet to the fire. She would never ever visit them. But even with the friendly ones, she's doing terrible. I just did a video earlier on what she said with The View, disastrous things she said with The View. So we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna show some clips. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's talk about this news now. This comes from Red State, from Nick Arama, and he reports that Kamala Harris did an interview with Howard Stern on Tuesday. Once upon a time, Howard Stern was anti-establishment and funny. I remember that. But now he's all in with the powers that be, and that's a sad comment on him. I agree. And remember the whole COVID stuff. This dude was like nuts about it. Then too, he always had issues with taste and says things that were offensive, including to women. Yet that didn't seem to stop Kamala Harris from going on his show. Harris went on The View earlier, and that was a disaster, and her admitting she wouldn't do anything different from Joe Biden. Again, I did a whole video on that. Stern made it clear he supported her and wasn't even going to begin to be objective. It wasn't an interview. It was an effort to help her. It goes on to say, I spoke about Jimmy Kimmel's interview of Tim Walz being a sycophantic slobberfest. This interview was even worse. All gross. I haven't seen any of this yet, so we'll see. Howard's first question was ridiculous. Did she nap? He explained he was disturbed that SNL made fun of her on Saturday. He didn't want that because there was, quote, too much at stake. He said he wanted this to go well for her. So you can't even crack jokes now? So I always say the left is unfunny. So no jokes at all because you need to protect poor Kamala Harris, who says again that she's not weak, right? But let's play this clip.
When you said you don't nap, I get it because like what you've taken on is extraordinarily difficult. And I mean, do you feel the pressure of the moment in the sense that, like when I met you out in the hall, I said, I'm really nervous because I want this to go well for you. I want it to go well for the country. Even when I watch them on Saturday Night Live with the where they have Maya Rudolph playing you, I hate it. I don't want you being made fun of. There's too much at stake. I believe the entire future of this country right now. I mean, as America, land of the free, home of the brave, I think it's literally on the line.
I agree with you.
And when I see them, how did you react to the Saturday Night Live bit?
Well, I just saw it, actually, and it was funny. I am a huge fan of Maya Rudolph's. I think she put a lot of time into doing the piece and the character.
Yeah, right. It was hilarious. I even chuckled at it because y'all know I say Saturday Night Live haven't been funny for years, but they finally got some cojones and decided to poke fun of Biden and Kamala Harris. But the second question was Howard asking if she liked the Prince soundtrack for the first Michael Keaton Batman movie that came out 35 years ago, according to journalist Joe Concha, really getting to the heart of the election issues. But that's about how it continued, with Howard spewing vitriol at Trump supporters. He filled in most of the time ranting, saying things like he doesn't understand how this election is close. He asked Harris if she would leave the country if Trump won. he just completely whacked out. Stern bizarrely claimed Harris was the law and order candidate. I'm sorry, I have to laugh at this because this is so delusional. But let's play this.
It's really weird, too, because to me, you're the law and order candidate. And yet they try to paint you like you're some leftist who, I don't know, who wants to have people running through the streets committing crimes. You were a prosecutor.
I have put a lot of people in jail. I have personally prosecuted everything from, child sexual assault to homicides. And then as Attorney General, transnational criminal organizations, which I took on as a leader.
And she keep repeating this story, but we can't find anything or anyone that she actually prosecuted. We can't find any court files or anything with her actually doing anything as far as being an attorney. We actually have no proof of her doing any of those things. That's wild. And call her law and order with the wide open border. Yeah, that's law and order. Allowing illegals to come in. Yeah, that's law and order. Yeah. This is the same woman who allowed a record number of people to enter our country illegally, like I was just saying. This is a woman who promoted a bail fund for people arrested during the BLM riots in Minnesota. This is a woman who has chanted down, down with deportation and has attacked ICE. We all seen that clip. Hey, at least Howard did ask the important McDonald's question, and even with a guy bending over to help her, she couldn't make it sound any more true this time either. We all know she never worked at McDonald's. This time she even said that Dougie had worked at McDonald's and had been Employee of the Month. Then she said more about doing fries. That's all she did it. So this is crazy to me. This is crazy to me because I remember one of my first jobs, not my first job, but one of my earliest jobs when I was a kid was at McDonald's, and I can tell you a lot of the things that I did there. Why can't all she talk about is fries? But let's play this.
He worked for everything he had. We have a picture of him when he was Employee of the Month at McDonald's.
And you were at McDonald's.
I worked at McDonald's.
By the way, you can't leave here because I have questions about McDonald's.
Okay, I'll answer anything you have.
All right, good,
so,
wow. Again, she offered no proof, and people who actually have worked at McDonald's said that that isn't how it works. So she didn't convince anyone. But perhaps the most incredible thing that she said was when she called President Donald Trump weak. Oh my gosh, this is classic projection. We all know she's weak. That's why she's uncomfortable during these interviews, and she can't even do these interviews. How she's gonna sit across from our adversaries or try to work out peace and things like that, but she can't even sit down for a softball interview. But let's play this clip.
I think that, Howard, people ask me, what do you think is going on, and what is the tension here? What's at stake? And there are many things, and I can be much more articulate than what I'm going to say. But
no, you can't.
Ultimately, I do believe that this is an election that is about strength versus weakness.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
And weakness as projected by someone
who
puts himself in front of the American people and does not have the strength to stand.
No, she put everyone else in front of the American people. I think it was a great meme that I saw. It said number one. It says Harris's priorities or Democrats' priorities or something like that, and it said number one. I think it was either Ukraine or Israel. Number two, either Ukraine or Israel. Open borders, all these other things, and it was like number 256. North Carolina hurricane survivors. I'm like, yep, that's true. That is accurate. This is why they try to censor. They want to censor things. They don't want to have memes and stuff like that, articulating points in a funny way. They don't want to do that. That's why this is why they want to censor, because in debating and in arguments and in meme wars, they lose every time.
Defense of their needs, their dreams, their desires, the work that must happen to make sure that we are a secure nation, that we are nurturing and protecting our alliances around the world, that we are supporting America's military, that we are fighting to bring the cost of living down for working families, that we are building business.
Why is the cost of living so high? It's because of you, because of your so-called Inflation Reduction Act and the government spending. This is why the costs are so high right now. She would never say the reasoning why costs are so high.
We are building businesses, building growth.
Did you?
Crazy. This is delusional. She ducked interviews until recently. She still refuses to answer a lot of questions about what she would do and hasn't gone on anything but friendly outlets. She failed at everything she's supposed to have done for the past 4 years. So imagine her talking about anyone else's weakness when she's the epitome of weakness. And that's true. Every single task that Joe Biden has given her, she has failed. The border, trying to prevent war with Russia and Ukraine. I mean, you could just list all the things that Biden out loud tasked her with, and she failed at. Moreover, how dare she talk about Trump, the guy who took a bullet and then had the strength to stand, even in the face of that, with blood streaming down his face, fist pumping, saying, "Fight, fight, fight," because his first thought was to let the people who would be concerned know he was okay so they wouldn't worry. He stood even in the face of gunfire. That's strength. Amen. That's courage that Kamala will never know or understand. And what's amazing is that the audience largely were transfixed, not running, but fixed on his safety as well. That was courage too. Trump even went back to the place of the attempt on his life to finish the rally that people wanted to see. He honored his supporters who had been hurt, and Corey, I cannot say his name, Comparator, sorry Corey, who had been killed, rest in peace. He spoke about how important it was to win to defend the rights of the American people. Harris has done nothing to make us a secure nation. She's done the opposite. She just threw Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu under the bus for refusing to even call him an ally. I got bigger fish to fry. I'm not really too pressed about that issue. But anyway, so much for alliances. And the rise in prices is directly related to her voting to pass the legislation that helped to make the inflation worse. And that's what I just alluded to as well, the Inflation Reduction Act. Harris is literally everything she is complaining about, and that's why we need to turn the page from her. And I agree. Classic projection. She knows she's weak. And she's know that Trump shows strength even in the face, in spite being in danger. He shows strength, and that is real strength. Well, let me know what y'all think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.